What's up, everybody? This is Trinity Gamer 333 here today to bring you the next video in the Xenoverse 3 series videos. And for those of you that are new or don't know, this is a series of videos in which we talk about new ideas and implementations that they could add into the next installment in the Xenoverse franchise. And I'd also like to clarify that all of these are just concepts and ideas that I have gathered from around the community, and none of these are actual factual evidence of anything that will be even up in the upcoming game, or even any clarified statements from the developers themselves. This is just ideas that I have come up with, as well as stuff I've seen from around the community, and what we would like to see in the next Dragon Ball Xenoverse game. And this is a culmination of ideas from around the community, as well as my own, into what I like to call the Dragon Ball game to end all Dragon Ball games. And today we'll be talking about Part 3, Character Creation, Subpart 10, Stats. So without further ado, let's begin. So first we'll talk about the attack stat. And this is the main source of power to use for offensive purposes, and there's two subtypes. There's the physical attack power, which is the attack power of all melee attacks, including basic melee attacks, super melee attacks, and ultimate melee attacks. Then there's the key attack power, which is the attack power for all key blast attacks, including basic key attacks, key super attacks, and key ultimate attacks. Now let's talk about defense. Defense is the main source of protection and how much less damage you take from attacks, and there's two subtypes. There's the physical attack defense, the defense that a character holds to take on physical attacks. The higher the percentage, the less damage you will take from physical attacks. And what I mean by physical attacks is like the melee, basic melee attacks, the melee super attacks, and the melee ultimate attacks. Then there's a key attack defense, the defense that a character holds to take on key attacks. The higher the percentage, the less damage you will take from key attacks such as key blast basic attacks, key supers, and key ultimate attacks. Let's now talk about speed. This is the main source of how fast your character moves and attacks, and there's two subtypes to this. There's the movement speed, which affects how fast your character can move around the map and fly as well. This also affects how fast one can dodge. So I think that the dodge feature should be a new thing that could be or should be added into the Xenoverse game, because I think that instead of just blocking an attack, it would be much cooler to be able to actually physically dodge it yourself, and just to show how much greater your speed might be than another character's speed. And this could be a great way to add a little bit more playstyle and variety to different fights and stuff. Now we have attack speed. This affects how fast your character can attack, and this is the flip side of the dodge speed. So if an attack speed is greater than the dodge speed, it will be harder to dodge, and vice versa. So if your attack speed is greater than the other person's dodge speed, more than likely they're not going to be able to dodge your attack. And this is something that I think the developers would be able to do in creating, to be able to balance it as well, so you're not just hitting them every time. Give the people who are dodging a chance to actually dodge, even if their attack speed is greater, but it'll be a lot less likely. And also the same way with, if your attack speed is lower than the dodge speed, then I think you should be able to still be able to get hit. Just it's not going to be as often because your dodge speed is a lot higher, so you'll have a better chance to actually dodge the attack. Now let's talk about ki. This affects how much ki your character has overall, and there's two subtypes, and this can affect how much ki is taken up as well from super and ultimate attacks. So the ki amount is the amount of ki your character has overall, so how many ki bars they hold whenever they enter a match. And that's not including any of their special skills or any of the different ki types or melee, or not melee, or super attacks that they can add to them. So, and then ki usage. This is the higher the percentage, the lower the cost for super and ultimate attacks. So I think if you put some of your points into this, it can actually bring down some of the super attacks to being costing 500 to maybe costing even 300 and lower, and having some of the 300 attacks be cost from 300 to 200 or even 100 with an ultimate attack. And maybe if you even put enough in it, you could have a super attack cost close to nothing, but I don't think that you should be able to have it cost nothing, because then that would be a little overkill, because then you could literally just spam that same super attack over and over and over, and that would be unfair. So I think that honestly it should still drain it, but just at a lot slower pace. Now let's talk about health. This is fairly quick, and this stat affects the overall amount of a character's health. That's pretty plain and simple. Every 10% up, so every percentage up you go by 10% is a half a health bar. So if you go up 20%, that's a full extra health bar. So if you get 100, so you start with 1 health bar overall. And I think that if you get up to 100% extra health, then that will add 5 health bars to your character, and then that's the maximum health that you can have. I know that in Xenoverse 2, it was really hard to get a high health character, and not many people did it all the time, but I think that they should be able to do that and get a better option to be able to do that in Xenoverse 3 if the game ever comes out. And I just think it'd be a lot better paced, and it would make for longer matches as well. So let's talk about transformations now when it comes to stats. So when going into a transformation state, your stats are all raised automatically and reflected on the display screen. They will increase according to the current percentage you have from the get-go. So example, however much health you have, if you have 50% of your maximum health, it'll raise by 20% of the overall maximum health and add that to the current health. And this is if you're going to a certain transformation that raises your health by 20%. So it'll raise it by 20% of the overall maximum health and add that to your current health. So if your health is, let's say, 1,000 and 20% of 1,000 is 200, and you have only 500 health, it's going to add 200 extra health onto you, which is going to give you 700 health if you go into a transformed state. So I think that that'd just be a good way to add more power to the transformations as well, and actually make them seem more powerful, and not necessarily just as they're there. But I just think that'd be a good way to add it. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and subscribe to me at TrainingTheGamer333 and leave a like and a comment. And on the next video is going to be part 3, character creation, subpart 11, special skills and abilities. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. See ya.